Hi. This is a short video of some floor conditioning that you can do at home. It's going to be mostly some core and some shoulders, a little bit of back. You don't need any props unless you're on a hard floor like I am and your back is sensitive. Then you may want to have a blanket or a rug or a yoga mat, something like that. So we're going to start at lying on the back. And just take a moment, let your arms relax down by your sides, and feel maybe a little cat-cow movement. So I'm arching my back away from the floor, and then tucking my pelvis so that I can begin to press down through my middle and low back, and maybe even lift my tailbone away from the floor. We're going to think about this tucked position where my pelvis is tilted forward a whole lot here. So just feel a few of those. And we'll end in that tucked position. So if I were to try to slide my hand underneath my back, there should be no space for my hand to go. So be careful about the ribs starting to flare open and this gap opening up underneath me. Once we've found that, I'm going to think about belly button pulling down toward my spine, and I take both feet up toward the ceiling and bend the legs 90 degrees. Here, my knees are stacked over my hips. If you have the flexibility to pull your knees tighter into your chest, you're going to have to resist the temptation. And then thinking about keeping this sort of 90-degree angle at the knee. Arms can be relaxed by the sides, head and shoulders are relaxed. We're going to take one foot toward the floor, we tap it with the toe, and then come back to the starting position. And the whole time I'm moving my legs and thinking about belly button pulling down, back staying tight to the floor. Let's try maybe 4 of these on each side, and then I'll give you another variation. If this feels good, keep doing them. If you want to add on, we're going to extend the moving leg so my heel comes close to the floor. Again, be careful if there's no arch happening at the lower back. That's my cat sneezing in the background. Let's do 2 more of these, and I'll give you one more option. And we're breathing. For the last one, my knees stay together, both feet move toward the floor, and then I come back to the starting position. It's really easy in this one to start arching the back, so be very careful. The ribs are still pulling in, the belly button is still pulling down. Let's do 2 more. And after our last one, let the feet come back down to the floor, your back can relax. We'll take a few leg swings just to give our low back a little twist. This is one of my favorite recovery positions in between sets. We're going to take one more set, any variation that you like. So 1 leg at a time, 1 leg at a time with the legs straight, or both feet together. We'll do 10 of them. Just remember to breathe. If you want one more option, if you're moving both legs together like I am, you could also flex your feet. It just gives my feet a little bit more space to travel, so I'm trying to tap my heel to the floor instead of my toes. This is 5 for me. When you're done, take a few more leg swings, and then we'll turn over and take a low cobra. I like to do cobras actively first, so I'm pressing down to my toes. I'm even thinking about still tilting my pelvis a little bit. It's really easy in this position to push the belly button down into the floor to lift. But I'm going to think about tailbone slightly tucked, ribs pulling away from the floor, and then if I lift just a little bit with only my upper body, my hands are hovering, and then I can push the floor away, go a little bit higher. I'm thinking about shoulder blades pulling down the back, stretching out the core after all that work we did. And we'll slowly lower back down and look for that hovering position again before you relax. And then here, I'm going to take my elbows onto my mat for a little bit of cushion. My elbows are about shoulder width apart. I like to interlace my fingers together, but you can also put your palms flat. We're going to go into a low plank from here. So my core is doing the same things as it was in the previous drill. Toes are tucked down. We're going to press back through the heels and think about tailbone tucking, so my hips press down to the floor, ribs are pulling in, and now I'm also pushing the floor away with my shoulders. So if you do a little shrug, you can feel how your shoulder blades can move toward each other or away from each other. We're going to find the second position. So shoulder blades go to the outsides of the back, pressing back to my heels, squeezing my butt toward the floor. We're just going to hold this for another few seconds and breathe. Let's take 1 minute child's pose. So knees separate, take your hips back to your heels, breathe. We'll do our low plank on the elbows one more time. This time I'm going to give you a movement option. If the plank itself feels good, just stay there. For the movement option, I'm going to point one foot and hook it over the back of my other heel. I'm still trying to keep the legs straight and squeeze together. And now I'll add a little bit of a rock. So I'll do 8 on the side. I'm still pushing with my shoulders. Ribs still pull in, butt still squeezes toward the floor. And then I'll switch. If you're just holding, finish out your hold. Both feet come back down, and then we can relax to the floor. Let's push back through child's pose. Take another breath here. So I'm lying on my back again, head and shoulders are relaxed, toes come up toward the ceiling. If your legs don't want to straighten this position, that's fine. You can do this with a micro bend. Let's start out by crossing the right ankle over the left. I'm squeezing my legs into each other, so I'm really actively pressing this front leg toward the back and vice versa. Arms are down by the sides. I'm thinking again about belly button pulling down to the spine and the front of the rib cage moving in. And my goal is to lift my toes, just shooting them a tiny bit up toward the ceiling without swinging them in toward my face. So we're not moving into a pike or a halasana position. We're just going to go straight up and down. You can give yourself a little bit of help if this is really challenging by pressing down with your arms, so it can help push the floor away. If this bothers your lower back at all, some students I have like to put their hands under the lower back just to change the angle a little bit, and that's fine. So we'll do 10 on this first side. I'm not counting, I hope you are. When you finish the first side, take a little break. Knees can swing. Or maybe just take a breath with the knees together, toes turning toward each other. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. Crossing other ankle in front, arms down by the sides, head and shoulders relaxed. 10 lifts. Swing it out. And then we'll shift our attention into the upper part of the core. So now my feet are pretty close to my hips. If I reach down, I should be able to just barely brush the backs of my heels with my fingertips, or at least feel pretty close. We're going to find that pelvic tuck again. So lower back is pressed down to the floor. Arms can be down by your sides. You can take your hands behind your head or your arms up by your ears. All three positions are great. I'm going to show my hands behind my head. And now my goal is to keep looking up toward the ceiling so my head stays pointed up. But I'm going to pull in through my ribs and lift the upper part of my torso. We'll do 10 of them. You can play around with the arm position. If my hands are down here, I can really reach for my toes, which is sometimes helpful. Let that relax. Swing the knees out for a moment. We'll do one more set of them. This time we'll add a hold at the end, so whichever position that I'm in, arms down by the sides, behind the head by the ears, I'm just going to hold it for 10 counts. So set your feet again, knees are parallel, ribs are pulling in, and lower back is pressing down. We'll take 10. Three, 2, and we'll hold this last one for 10. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax and flip over. Let's take another low cobra. So hands hovering at about face height, toes pressed down, ribs pull in, lifting up. And if you wish, you can push into the floor to go higher. And coming back down through that hover. Let's take one more of our low planks. This time we're going to add a different variation. So I can be here in my plank. I can also be in more of a downward dog shape where my arms move toward my ears. You'll probably want to tiptoe in a little bit, and if your object is really slidey like mine, you may not want it for this drill. So in my low downward dog, this is also called dolphin sometimes, I'm going to go forward into an extra low plank. I want my sternum to hover just above my thumbs and my hips to come super low. So if my toes are too close to my hands, I can't get all the way flat. So you can play around with the angle. We're going to do 10 of them. Feel as you come back up into the dolphin, you're really pushing into the elbows. I'm bringing my arms up toward my ears. This is a great drill for handstand prep if you work on handstands. Make sure as you go low into this plank that you're finding ribs pulling in, hips pushing forward. This is 8 for me, I think. After your last one, drop the knees and take a child's pose. Hamstrings. So once again, we'll lie down on the back. Feet pretty close to the hips. Feeling that tuck in the tailbone. So you may feel that if you push into your feet a little bit and do that pelvic tilt, my tailbone starts to lift off the floor and I begin to raise my hips. So in this position, it's really easy for the ribs to want to open as well if we lift all the way up. My goal here is to keep my hips high, but to pull the rib cage in. So I'm really flattening out this line from my ribs to my knees. You don't have to bring the hips super high to feel what's happening. What I want to focus on is on the way down, I'm almost resisting a little bit. So it's like my hips could come back up at any time. My tailbone never completely relaxes onto the floor. When it gets close, I'm going to push down with the feet again to lift up. We'll do 10 of these. Keep checking in that the ribs stay closed at the top. And if you can think about one more thing, think about squeezing your knees together a little bit. My feet like to splay out as I go through this. And I'm imagining like I'm hugging a block or a ball between my knees. And really resisting that arch at the very bottom of the movement. This is 7 or 8 for me. Really bad at counting today, sorry. Let's just hold the last one too, just for bonus points. So once I'm up, pelvis is tucked slightly, thinking about lifting the front of my hips up to the ceiling, but not the rib cage or the belly button. Just holding and breathing, squeezing the knees together one more time, pressing down through the whole sole of the foot, and then we'll slowly relax. A stretch that might feel nice after this is to cross one ankle over the other knee. You can draw both legs in, maybe take a little rock side to side with the lower body. If you want to bring the leg in closer, you can grab on under the back knee. And we'll try that on the other side too. So we'll find ankle over knee. This is my left leg. I just put ankle over knee. I'm going to take my right hand behind my head, just cupping the head in the back of my hand. And my other arm is right at its shoulder height. I'll turn some more so you can see. So I'm going to sit up and bring my elbow toward my knee, and then slowly roll back down. I'm using the arm on the floor to find some resistance. If your elbow doesn't want to go all the way to your knee, that's totally fine. You can just go part of the way up. Be careful about this knee sneaking forward. We want to encourage it to rest back as far as it can. We'll do 10 of these. If you find that you're pulling on your neck at all, you can take your fist beside your head or your palm against your head. That sometimes will help me not pull on the neck. Remember to breathe. And we'll come down extra slow on the last one. And switch sides. Opposite arm out at shoulder height, pressing down to the floor. Elbow and knee come toward each other, and we roll back down. And again on this last one, we'll come down extra slow. And maybe take a couple of leg swings to finish. I'm doing these videos for free if you're stuck at home and you just need a little bit of movement in your day. I understand how that is. But if you'd like to leave me a tip, I have Venmo and PayPal links for you to do so. And let me know if you have any requests, anything that worked really well or didn't work really well for you in this video. If you need more modifications, I am happy to help. Have a great day. See you soon.